Let us move ahead and now check through the next important pointer, which is in line with our previous process, where we have seen that the last stage or the later stage in our complete mechanism of customer acquisition is about sales and revenues. And when we are talking about sales and revenues specifically in the online scenario, then there is some kind of expectations that we need to match our particular mechanism onto. Now these mechanisms would be definitely falling off in the offline scenario as well, because having a positive purchase by any customer is indeed one of the important elements and one of the very much set of necessary elements about the service that someone is offering. But in line with that, here let me give through an online example, and also we'll be talking a bit about offline scenarios as well about this. So in case of online, definitely the most enthusiastic industry is varied through in various sectors. There is online purchases happening in travel, in accommodation, in various kind of education services, in case of e-commerce, and a lot more. But here I'm taking a specific example in relation with them, but through one of the product or service, which would be fairly applicable across to even other set of services which are offered, or other set of products wherein a purchase experience element comes in line for converting a lead into a sale. So here is an example for which I found through from one of the biggest e-commerce companies having its particular set of presence in India through Amazon, that here is one of the purchases which I have done through, and past the purchase is done through, they are asking through this very important question, whether is this item or this particular product which they have sold across to me did match my expectations, means what I was expecting from that product or service, was it equivalent to the same. So that kind of engagement will really help the customer being understanding through that the company is not interested, or the company does not have only the aim about selling a product, but is also interested in creating a kind of marketplace where there is high amount of transparency, high amount of reliability, and high amount of engagement with each other. So that's a typical example once a purchase is done. But even the previous set of element of it, where the experience of the customer is for going forward and doing that purchase, is something which we need to see through from one of the examples, wherein I have indeed landed on the website page. And herein, whenever we are thinking through of this particular element of buying a product, there are so many options which are thrown open to us, which are there in front of us, and from that we need to go forward and select the best of it. And that, in case of this particular site, that is that particular element on a website like Amazon, is really systematically handled through. Definitely many other websites and e-commerce companies are having the same kind, or having even good set of purchase element, but I am showing this through from one of the examples. So let's say if I am looking forward at buying one of the products which are there out here, like let's say this particular speaker, then they are having options of either going through and having a quick look through that product, so as before buying it I can see through how the product looks like, what is its rating, what is its price. If I need to see the details, they are having a button through which I can land on a page specific to that and see the complete details, right from variety of images related to the product, up to even going forward and seeing through an maximized image or maybe a more detailed image of the product in higher resolution. Then there is even the mechanism about the pricing element being given, the delivery options which are there about the product, and what is the guarantee which is there with the product, what are its set of different features about the same. And then there is the elements about the complete description. So all these, each of these nuts and bolts, each of these smaller set of elements, like past the description part, there is even the element about some customers who have done some question and answering regarding the same. Then there is the rating given by different customers, which can be sorted through or which can be read through, and past that there is the end of the page. So this kind of element is something really great which helps build through a great set of positive experience. And the next step would be to go forward and select that product and add it across to your buying cart, and then going forward to proceed for checkout of that product. And therein also there would be the mechanism about entering your account details and other stuff. So my main stuff was all the navigation which I did out here, and the step-by-step process which I followed was very simple to understand, was something very quick onto which one can work through, and it had a good amount of positive experience in the form of transparency, in the form of engagement, in the form of communication by other users, and so on and so forth. So that's indeed the very first point which is being stressed out here as well, that when you want to have a sale happening, there should be a positive purchase experience in any scenario in relation with your lead. The same thing should be happening even in an offline scenario. If maybe you are going through, or maybe the customer is looking for booking a new car, or maybe signing up for life insurance, or maybe going forward and buying furniture from your retail store, in each of these, such kind of ease, such kind of transparency, such kind of engagement should be something as an incorporated point in for the customer to experience through. And therein you would not just be leaving the customer till only the time he or she purchases, but also going forward and doing these kind of post-purchase mechanisms about asking through for reviews, asking through for rating, and making sure that they re-engage with your product and are happy to know through the experience is something lively and nice for them as well. So that's the first element about creating a positive experience with your customer. The next element past that in relation with it is about the kind of response you give across to your customer for fixing any issues. This could be a common scenario in any particular organization, that while the customer is looking for some quality expectations from his or her purchase, many a times in an online scenario and sometimes even in offline scenario, there are situations where your product or service is not matching to that, or maybe there is some element of mistake even from the end of the customer, which is leading for some problems to him or her. And thus, in this scenario, you need to play, indeed the company support team needs to play a very important role in assuring that a solution is being provided to that problem. Whether that problem may be related to about just a particular kind of damage in a particular product which is delivered online, or it could be some kind of clauses in a service industry like insurance which are not beneficial to the customer, or it could be some issues ideally even with your engagement cycle, like your website is not working properly, or the e-commerce functionality is not there or the payment gateway is not up to the mark. Whatever the scenario may be, either technical, either related to sales, either related to the features, either related even to the product which has got delivered, and all of them or any one of them wherein the customer is in need of support, therein you need to make sure that the perfect support is provided at the right time in the right set of manner. To show through an example of the same, as you can see through in the presentation in front of you, here is one of the support element which is regarding usage of a product known as DFP, which is double click for publishers, in which there are times when it is ideally a particular interface through which one can go ahead and publish through various set of online advertisements on their portal or website. And in that there is this particular issue in which there is an intermediate issue or there is some bug which is there with the usage of that portal. And as you can see through from the date range which has been shared, in a very minimal time frame of just one day, ideally the solution would have come through in just few hours, but due to those hours being a bit away from each other, the solution has gone in the range of one day. But herein I can assure that within this much small time frame or within a very small time frame of just less number of hours, the company and the team has worked across to find the solution for the technical error and made sure that all the people who are using it are aware about this issue, and as soon as it is sorted, they have updated about it being resolved. So while this scenario happens to be related to just one website having some tech issues, this same scenario could be for an e-commerce site. It could be there even in the product purchase side. It could be there even in other support elements. At which juncture it is happening, that is not the important point, but fixing the same immediately, having a plan to solve or resolve it in an efficient manner as soon as possible is the biggest task one needs to keep in mind. And that's the same thing which is the second important element in a positive purchase experience, that if the customer faces an issue, if they are left out in that mechanism, make sure you are reaching to them at the earliest as possible and providing a solution to their problem at the most sooner time. The next thing coming in line is to go forward and keep keen focus in knowing what your customers are doing, or when you want to know through your customers better, you need to go forward and know, I beg your pardon, not just your customers, but together with that, what indeed is your competition doing and how well is the rating, how well is the experience, or what is the kind of growth that they are taking time over time in relation with your product or service, and how it could be helpful or how it could be degrading through to your growth, and what is the kind of benefits which they are offering which you should be offering through as well, or which may not be something which you have still reached across onto. Like for example, if in case of e-commerce you are having a minimum delivery time of your product as 48 hours and you observe that your competition has a new set of variety in which they are offering same day delivery. So this kind of positive approach which they have against you is going to be a hindrance to your business. And similarly, there could be many more further scenarios, like your particular set of competitor may be offering a 30-day money back guarantee and you are offering just a 7-day money back guarantee, then the chances of your competitor being getting more business could be very high. Similarly, if you are offering through a mechanism of let's say giving through your products as free home delivery only past the purchase value being 1000 and your competitor is offering through free delivery for purchase value just over rupees 100. So these elements, while could be difficult for your organization based operation value, where they may match many a time, they may not match many a time, but if you are aware of these changes, and indeed, so the main pointer is that if not just a kind of conclusive point, that if you are aware, indeed it should be a compulsion point that you must be at least aware about all these changes, all these mechanisms, all these tactics which are followed by your competition, and from them how you can evolve through and come out as a better service provider or a better seller or a better organization overall to get through a better experience for the end user. So here is a similar example of the same, wherein Amazon.in has shared through a mechanism, has shared through that how within a time frame of near around 1.5 years, the organization has grown from a very lower set of visitors on a monthly basis to someone having the highest visitors on each month on month. So this kind of growth has been possible with them, and this kind of growth of having more than 30 million products and having good number of such high set of sellers and customers is something which is getting them to the top. And there is some element of hard work, some element of perseverance, some element of learnings from their customer, and importantly from their competition, various elements of learning even from their sellers. All of that has come together and has made the organization reach at an higher value and outbid the other set of competitors who were previously having or who were previously at an forward step from them in relation with the product or service. So here there won't be a short list of checkpoints, or there won't be an 100% set of mechanism of how best this can be incorporated in a very dramatic manner. But yes, indeed, when we are talking about an online scenario, we can be having tools through which we could be discovering that what is the position of yourself in the market and what is the position of a competitor of yours in the market. For example, if I want to compare through maybe what kind of monthly traffic or what kind of user statistics are available of different websites on a common platform, then I can do through very easily and know through some amount of growth which has come through to a particular company or which has not come through from few online resources which are very much helpful for it. Like one of the online resource is in the form of a website, a statistics related website known as similarweb.com, in which I can go forward and enter the URL or the data about any company and give forward the stats about, or get forward the stats about the kind of users coming on to them. Like let's say here I am entering a website URL in the form of maybe I am myself into a particular field and I want to know what kind of data is there about my competitor. Let's say if I want to check that what kind of users are there on Amazon, or what is the kind of data estimates about the same site which we had seen in the presentation about Amazon itself. So I can go ahead and enter the URL out here and past that, first some set of search been happening through. There would be an estimated ranking based data at the first end, and then going forward there would be traffic based data of how many users and visits are happening on an ongoing basis on the website, which is the location from which it is receiving the highest set of traffic, and then even further details about what people are searching for and coming across onto the website and how they are landing across and where else are they going across past searching or past being on this website itself. So that's the kind of stats which I can gather through from this element, from the element of this nice website, from which I can gather information about any product or service. Similarly, like this, there is one more website if you want to know details about your competitor or market value about your competitor, named through as alexa.com, which provides similar set of stats and details, and it is one of the oldest or one of the older websites in this arena giving this market research related data. So let us do through the same element in this particular site as well. Let's say if I want to check the data about a tool like or website like Flipkart, I would go forward and enter the domain name, and past that go ahead and click on the find button, and in a time frame of few seconds the data is being evaluated and is being shown across to me, first in a graphical format in the form of how people are going or seeing that through. Then there's the bifurcation about the traffic coming from which set of countries. Then there is some engagement data about the user, the time spent, page views and other elements. And then finally there is element about what people are searching and how they are finding the website, and the links and other insights, even some data about the kind of the quality of the website in terms of its speed and other elements, and finally the demographics of the users who are landing on the site and where would be their location and other stuff. So that's some important information which I can debug about my competitor, which can help me in this point of creating a purchase experience, a positive purchase experience for my end user, where I am knowing what my competitor is doing and how could be I adopting methods to outbid or crossbid him or her or that company, and have my users follow through with me for doing further set of purchases and doing other set of elements where they can keep on reconnecting again and again, or keep on reconnecting on a regular basis. So that's an important pointer about knowing your competition. Just before I end up, a last set of interesting story to share through. This screenshot which you are seeing in read is from that particular time frame which happened through near around in October 2015, where Amazon had more number of visitors in comparison with all their other set of competitors, and from that data, due to it becoming one of the highest user base websites, the CEO wrote through this important informative post, and indeed they offered a 200 rupee discount just because they believe that this position of the company is possible to go ahead and outbid their competitor and their people who are competing against them only because of their customers. So when they attained this feast, they did not think of partying in their organization or company, but they thought of giving value back to their customers by offering a free coupon of a particular value of 200 or 300 odd rupees. So that's how knowing through your competition indeed helps in creating a very positive and healthy environment for your customers too.